We know the psychology of driving. We know that we'll drive as drivers as fast as the road will allow us. If we feel comfortable speeding, regardless of what the speed limit is, we're going to drive fast.
We came here today to select the finalists and the winning entry for the Complete Streets Makeover. Today we had it whittled down to the top 10 nominations, and we based that on the feasibility of the implementation, the inadequacy of the current design, traffic safety history there, crash data, hospitalization rates, things like that. We looked at not only the current design, but also the proximity to amenities that children might use, schools, art centers, parks, and just the presence of kids in the area. If we make things safe for kids and make things safe for seniors, we're making things safe for pretty much everybody.
A complete street is one that is designed to operate and keep everyone safe on the street, regardless of their mode of transportation, their ability, their age. Everyone who uses that street should be safe to use that street. Complete street will look very different in a rural or less populated area than it would in a city neighborhood, because it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It is one that keeps the neighborhood context in mind.
Yeah, so this is Parcells Avenue. Parcells and Greeley is the specific intersection that we're standing at. And Parcells runs all the way from Culver Road to Goodman. It's a straight shot. It's a long straight shot without any stop signs. And so cars really use it as a cut through and a speedway. And knowing that Parcells used to have a streetcar, it's a very wide street. You know, there's parking on both sides. It's non-alternating. And so cars feel very comfortable traveling at these high speeds.
A young boy from Rochester is dead after being hit by a pickup truck last night on Parsells Avenue. Neighbors say the boy was chasing after a ball when he was hit. Family say the boy was 2-year-old Josiah Burnett. Investigators say this appears to be a tragic accident. So far, the driver is not facing any charges.
And tragically, in 2016, a young child chasing a ball ran into the street, was killed by a motorist, and made it all the more pertinent that we really need to do something. We have had a speed monitor out there. The sign data showed that people are driving well in excess of 55 miles per hour on a residential street. The majority of them are going in excess of 40 miles per hour. So there's a real need here. And of course, this street isn't alone, but as an advocate for Beechwood, I'm happy it's happening right here down the street from where I live.
A pedestrian hit by a car going 40 miles per hour has a 10% chance of survival. And that's assuming that's a super healthy, median-aged person. If you're talking about a child or an older person, the statistics are much worse. So 10% chance of surviving if you're hit by a car going 40 miles per hour. If you design the streets so people have to drive slower when they're driving a car, and you're hit by a car at 30 miles per hour, you have a 50% chance of survival. And at 20 miles per hour, you have a 90% chance of survival.
So Parcells and Greeley is a great example of an intersection with potential. There's a strong neighborhood around it. There are active residents who are looking to beautify this space. There's lots of kids. It's in close proximity to a library and an art center. So I think that not only can we make it safer for people to be around that intersection, slow down cars, but I think we can also beautify the intersection and hopefully help the neighborhood do what they're already doing, which is breathing life into a great part of the city.
As someone who's involved with a lot of neighborhood associations, I can tell you that this is maybe the #1 issue, cars speeding through residential streets. A lot of times they think the answer is speed bumps. What they don't realize is there's a whole tool chest of things that could potentially be done. So this was great, seeing the interest that people had, the energy that they brought, the ideas, what they learned from it, and I'm hoping we're really going to come away from this with a really positive outcome. And then from there, doing everything I can and we can as a neighborhood to advocate with the city to make sure that it's not just a temporary thing, but that the pilot becomes a permanent installation so that we can have permanent long-term traffic calming and an inclusive environment for pedestrians, cyclists, and automobile drivers.
Well, we've got everyone out here, and with paint, we're painting the intersection of Parcells and Greeley Avenue. Right now, Parcells Avenue receives about a traffic speed equivalent to what we see on Lake Avenue, a full arterial road. This is a residential neighborhood. We've got all these kids around. They want to enjoy public space, and so we're trying to accommodate for that. Right over here, we're trying to be more accommodating for the bus. There's 2 bus stops just on the east side of the intersection. And so we would like to make those accessible bus stops that anyone can use. The permanent solution that we're suggesting for this intersection, we're realigning curb edges. And so we have temporary rubber curbing to simulate that. And we've tried to further emphasize that with some orange delineator posts. But it's really minimizing that curb radii. I sat there, simulated as much as possible. What is that minimum radius that we could do?
One of the benefits of tactical urbanism is that you get to test things in a low-cost, agile way. We know that design has the biggest impact on driver behavior, and in order to change design, you need to work with all the entities that have jurisdiction over the road and who understand complete streets design and traffic engineering. And in order to implement a good long-term permanent design, you need to test it out first. And you need to do that with some on-street design experiments that allow you to adjust different elements as you go and as you learn, and that will inform your final design. And you'll get the best design for that particular neighborhood and for how that street serves the people in the neighborhood.
Well, one of the biggest takeaways for me from doing things like this is really the sense of community that builds. So that's always the #1 thing, just getting people out and getting them talking to each other. How's it going, Billy?
I see a lot of new faces here that I've never seen before, and I'm normally an introvert. But I'm really, today of all places, I'm really compelled to say, "Hi, my name is Jay. What's your name?"
So that's our hope, is really continue to brighten and enliven the Beechwood neighborhood and to kind of put it on the map and be a model for the rest of the city so that other neighborhoods that have these same concerns can duplicate what we're doing.
We selected a winner, but we also identified a lot of other intersections that the community has concerns about, and we won't forget those. So hopefully this is just the start of an ongoing process where we can take inventory of our built environment and make things safer for people to be healthy and get around.
Most of the public, they don't fully understand that this is all public space. A majority of it is catered to the motorist, the automobile. So if we, all these kids out here can start to understand that the next generation is already one step ahead of where we are. Ideally, this could be the first one, and next year we find, another neighborhood, and we can help create into another community. Long term, it'd be great for the city to acknowledge, just this process, and we could start to formalize this process.
One of the things that made this so doable was the involvement of the neighborhood, and I think that's an important lesson to be learned. When you let the people in the neighborhood decide what's going to happen in their own neighborhood, it's amazing, and it's very empowering. And so we're hoping this will inspire others. They don't need to come to us to change their neighborhood. We'll help you out if you want to, submit next year. But you can do this on your own. You can work with the city. You can work with organizations within your own community to work on a better solution for making your streets safer.